way down, just comfortably laying onto our mats. See if you can feel the muscles of the back relaxing. And sometimes if you feel that extra aggravation through the low back, know that you've got some tricks up your sleeve that you're welcome to use, such as planting the feet as wide as the mat and then just letting them knock inward, falling inward toward one another so that no muscular effort's required. That's a little trick I use sometimes when my back is giving me extra troubles. Otherwise, perhaps this normal flat shavasana is absolutely beautiful for us today. And our theme for our practice today, through the yoga movements we'll be including, through the breath that will be, the breath work, different breath practices we'll be including, and through the meditation at the end, the idea that we're working on today is letting go. So see if you can dedicate your practice today mentally to some idea or a person, place, thing, whatever it is, some idea that you're willing to let go of. And today will be our symbolic way to completely release that. So maybe this is an old habit that's no longer serving us, and starting today, we are giving ourselves permission to release it, to never return to it. Perhaps it is a word, a limiting word that has always been a part of your vocabulary, and you're going to start releasing that, becoming more aware of every time you use it. I know somebody who is releasing, letting go of the word just. Like I'm just, I'm just a girl, I'm just this. And instead it's like, no, I'm a girl, I'm a woman, I've got the power because of that. And so she's stopping that practice of belittling herself by her words. And so think of what that is. Maybe it's that word, maybe it's an idea, a habit, a person perhaps, a type of conversation. There's many things that we can let go of, because every time we come across them, we realize you're not helping me. In fact, you're holding me back and you're not serving me. So as I've been speaking, hopefully you've come up with that idea that you're starting today, that process of letting go. And so with that theme, with that very intention to help carry us into our yoga practice, our breath, and into our meditation today, let's begin with a laying down version of the lion's breath. We'll include this breath a few times in our practice today. What I love about this breath is that I really feel myself forcing the exhale out, using that energy of the exhale to let go. And so when we're upright, we use more of our head and our neck and our whole spine to do that release. But while we're here on our backs, let's just keep everything still and just work with the exhale. So what we're going to do, take a nice inhale through the nose, make it deep and full. And then with the exhale, you stick out your tongue. You kind of look at your forehead cross-eyed and you just let your breath go. So it looks like, it's like you're forcefully just releasing that entirely. So let's take 3 of those breaths back to back here, just as a little practice. So inhale through the nose, nice and deep. Exhale, release. Beautiful. And notice if other areas of your body took on a contracted state while you were doing that. For instance, the last week or two, I've been aware of my hands and how sometimes I'll clench up my fists without even realizing it. And so see if you can relax and let go of that need for tension in our body. Beautiful. And then from here, you're going to start reaching your right arm directly up overhead. You're scooting your head a little bit over off that left side of the mat so that the right arm can be on the midline of the mat. You're stretching that right arm as far upward as it can possibly go. And then as your head is already scooting closer to that left shoulder, try to inch it just a little bit closer, maybe even taking that left hand, wrapping around the right ear to help introduce the neck just a little bit closer. So once you've gotten to the full stretch, you don't want any sort of pain, any sort of tension that you're, say, pushing your neck too far, but you should be feeling a little bit of opening through the neck and a little bit of opening through the ribs on the right side. See if you can feel it. We're nice and gentle at first. Another beautiful breath into our bodies. With our exhale, return the head, circle the arms on the ground, reaching them upward. And then from there, right arm drops down. We scoot our head off the left edge so that left arm can be in that midline of the mat. Start to pull as if you've got somebody tugging your wrist further and further upward. The head continues to inch closer to the right shoulder. Maybe the right hand circles around to that left ear, bringing it even closer inward. Ultimately, once you've kind of set up your body, see if you can find a passive quality, releasing even through that deep, beautiful stretch. Another breath in. And then with our exhale, let's work our spine back through the midline. Once we've rested our head back through that nice neutral place, clasp your hands behind the head and use just the strength of the arms to lift the head up. The head is completely heavy. If suddenly your hands disappeared, your head would plunk back to the ground. We're trying to get no muscular effort involved. So instead, head is lifted, nice and comfortably. If little movements, tilting the head a little bit to the right and a little bit to the left are helpful, you're welcome to add that now. And then from here, work on planting the feet and then bringing the knees in toward the chest. The hands are still supporting the head. And so from here, we're waking up our core just slightly. And so we're going to crunch inward with an exhale, trying to touch both elbows to both knees. And then inhale, set the head down, lengthen the legs out. You're welcome to just go upright. That's the most gentle version you can do on yourself. Otherwise, angling it down just a little bit is fine. And let's repeat that a few times. Curling the head in, we feel that deep stretch traveling further down the spine. And then setting the head down, the legs extend out, just a gentle strengthening. Repeating here, going for 8. And stretch. Make sure you really feel the whole spine, the whole part of the neck stretching with you. 7. Just a teeny bit of work. And 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. This last one, when you come in, try to let the head be lifted just a little bit more. Feel that spine stretching. Keep the knees in, completely set the head down back to the earth. Both hands go around the right knee. Left leg slides all the way along to the earth. With hands clasped around the right knee, pull the knee directly back as if it's trying to touch to the shoulder. For me, it seems like that's never ever gonna touch. It feels so far away, but we're trying to add the intention. So it's that idea, can I get a millimeter deeper? Are my muscles willing to release? And no pressure if they're not. See if you can flex the left foot, keeping a little bit of energy through that side. Imagine that leg is weighted with lead. Trying to keep it heavy to the earth. From here, continuing to keep this left leg heavy, let's start to slide the right hand up toward the outside edge of the foot, half happy baby pose. We're pulling the knee wide. Once again, we're not lifting left hip. Keep lots of energy, lots of activity through that side. Left hand joins on, grabbing the foot, and we're going to try to bring the foot itself closer to the sternum or the middle of the chest. So elbows begin to bend out to the sides. We're gradually bringing it closer and closer, just however deep it's willing to go. Sometimes just hugging in like this, you feel the muscles of the legs start to release until you feel that hip opening. And sometimes it feels good to add a little bit more activity, rocking slightly left and slightly right. So whichever version is helping you to feel the body, go with that option. And then all at once, completely release the foot. Slide the left hand to the knee, and the left hand grabs the knee, taking it into a beautiful twist. See how much the spine is willing to open. And especially with the stretch that we got in the upper back earlier, see if you can feel the lower back starting to be added on to the stretch. New possibilities awakening within our spine. Good breath into the body. Good exhale. Start to return the hips back to the earth. One last thing on this side, we slide our hands back to clasp around the foot, and we're going for a hamstring stretch, or if the hamstring stretch can't go when you're clasping that high up, slide it further down to be around the calf area, whatever you can do. So start to stretch it long. And bend the knee. We're doing little pulses here, getting long into the hamstring and bending. If there's tightness, I sometimes imagine that tightness represents my previous inability to let go. And so now as I'm consciously working on stretching, the very cells of my body become more prepared, more aligned to receive just a little bit of newness by releasing the old tight habits. So let's pulse one more time long up to the sky. And then release the hands, let that leg travel all the way back down to rest on the ground. Once it's there, completely release the right muscular effort. Feel the liveliness in that leg right now. Good. So second side, left knee starts to come in, clasp the hands around it. And start to introduce this knee nice and close to the body, just however deep it can go. Find the right foot flexing, starting that activity, that heavy groundedness through that side. sliding the left hand up to the outside edge of the foot, we take the half hip happy baby pose. The knee's wider than our shoulder, the foot is stacked above the knee, and the hand is helping to introduce it downward just a bit. Remember, the activity on the right side is keeping it grounded, so don't let that side tilt. The right hand comes up, grabbing the foot, and we begin to bring the foot closer and closer to the sternum. How deep is this side willing to travel? Is stillness best, or would you prefer some rocking here? Going left and right a few times. Beautiful. As we release our hands from the foot, our right hand grabs the knee, sending the knee into the twist. The whole spine speaking to us. It's as if it's saying, finally, I've been ready to stretch and release. And now you're finally here with me. And it's not the type of finally that's like making you feel bad, but it's the type of finally that it's like if you haven't seen a cousin in 3 years, and it's like, finally, we get to see each other again. Just such joy at getting to have that family reunion. Like, you're coming back to me. I'm so gleeful about that. Take another beautiful breath into the body. The nice exhale returns our hips to the ground. From here, we're either clasping around left foot or just grabbing onto the calf. And the leg begins to stretch upward to the sky. Let's start our pulses once you get there. Letting the knee bend. That takes the stretch out of the hamstring. And then straightening it back up as deep as it's willing to go. Continuing that nice slow pulse. Perhaps synchronizing your breath with the movement. Let's repeat 3 more times, imagining that finally the hamstring's getting to its depth, whatever that depth is. Last one. We release, the leg floats down to the ground as if it's feather light from all those stretches. Beautiful. Stretching the arms back up overhead. Let's see if we can roll all the way up. Just stretch over the 2 straight legs. Roll the spine back up to sit tall. Take the legs into a cross-legged shape. And then here we grab onto each of our elbows. So the elbows are floating here right in front of our chest. From here, when both elbows pull over to the right side, we gaze over toward the left. Elbows back through the center. And elbows to the left, gaze to the right. elbows return back through the center. This time elbows go to the right. Our head tilts to the left as if we're trying to get left ear to left shoulder. Elbows through the center. Elbows over to the opposite side, over to the right. And then right ear to right shoulder. Good. Elbows back through the center. Elbows to the right. This time right ear to right shoulder. Deep, deep stretch through the left side. Pause here just a little bit longer. Elbows back through the center, the head floats up. Head tilts over to left ear to left shoulder. And elbows get pulled to the left. Another breath into the body. And arms float through the center, head floats back up. Now imagine somebody's sitting right in front of you and they pull your elbows forward, but the rest of your spine doesn't want to go, so it's your shoulder blades that spread wide. And then they release, you come back. Shoulder blades squeeze together behind your back. So it's like we're flapping our shoulder blade wings. They're going farther apart from each other as the arms go forward, and then they squeeze together in the back, pinching as closely as they can. 2 more of those, going forward and pinch, forward and pinch. Beautiful. From here, drop the arms down, trace a clock. So tracing a big circle. Let's go to the right first. Both elbows get pulled all the way to the right. Start to circle up above you. Let your heart arch just slightly backwards. Both elbows get pulled all the way to the left. And then they circle all the way down. Let's reverse that. Now they go to the left. All the way up, feel your spine arch. They go over to the right. And all the way down. Take a huge breath in, stretching both arms behind you. And from here, drop the right hand down to your side. The left hand circles up and over. Don't lean so far that left hip has to rise. Inhale, float back up, torso up through the center, plant the left hand, right arm up and over. Beautiful, floating back up, open both legs to a wide shape. If you can't sit tall with this, either grab something to sit on or keep the knees a little bit bent so that your posture can be totally straight up and down. From here, we've got a few different angles. First, the right hand plants the inner inside of the right leg, and then we slide that hand down, maybe even coming down to the elbow. Again, no sitting bones are lifting. Stack the shoulders, left arm up, and left arm over. Keep stacking the shoulders, getting everything square. Let the head just kind of release rather than having too much effort. Another inhale. And exhale, start to free out the right arm. We're stretching both arms over the right leg. Walk both arms all the way forward. Rise all the way up. Second side, left hand on the inside of left leg. Start to slide it down. Maybe drop to elbow if you have that space. Shoulder stack. And this right arm up and over. Free out the left arm. Both arms are on each side of the left leg. And begin to walk your hands forward, stretching just a millimeter or a centimeter further than before. Rising up, from here, our hands grab onto each of the inner thighs muscle groups to help us sit tall. And from here, we take another round of the lion's breath. This time we do include more of our spine. We hollow our spine backwards. When we take our inhale, with our exhale, the heart comes forward and through, the head goes up. We do the same thing, tongue sticks out. We kind of cross our eyes, looking up toward our forehead. And imagine just expelling whatever it is that you're letting go of right now. Okay, so the grip of our hands under the knees or at the thighs helps us to have more control of our spine. If you need to just come to a seated cross-legged position instead, that's fine. So from here, inhale, round back just a little bit. Exhale, forward and through. Let's do 4 more. Last one, make it big. Great work. Swing the legs around, coming onto hands and knees. Intuitively move your spine. What movements are most helpful? This could look like cat-cow. This could look like rocking your spine left and right. This could look like more of a hip circle. Is what feels most helpful, most kind in the body right now. Take another good breath in and out. Beautiful. From here, we lower all the way down onto our belly. And from our belly, we take a nice shoulder stretch. We're going to come into Sphinx pose first. This helps us to get set up in the shape. Taking a back bend for a moment, heart gets pulled forward and through, meaning we drag the hands backwards without actually letting them move. That's how we begin to bring the heart through, the chest through, stretching through abdominal muscles. The head isn't being cranked back, rather the head is just an extension of the rest of the spine, keeping the spine long. Shoulders pressing away from ears. Another good breath in and out. And so from here, to get into the shoulder stretch, you need to bring both arms parallel to the front of the mat. Let's start with the right hand in front of the left hand. So it's forming an equal sign, that those 2 parallel lines. And so from here, the right hand goes to the left and the left hand goes to the right. Each hand is walking off that edge of the mat. And you're trying to get your arms to a point where you're feeling a stretch through the shoulders. I like to find a way for my head, for my chin to rest down comfortably without gagging myself. So try to find that place to release. And if you don't really feel the shoulder stretch, the last thing that you need to do is just bump the elbows slightly upward. That usually gets me right into the stretch. So take a few good breaths right here. Take one more breath in. Good exhale. And from here, notice the left arm is the arm that's closer to the ground. So that one's not going to move. The right arm circles forward. This is already halfway unwound. And then it circles all the way until right hand can plant under right shoulder. From here, we press into the ground. The legs are heavy. It's as if the feet don't really want to be pulled into a stretch. The knees are glued to the ground, but the right arm completely opens out behind you onto the ground. Just a nice way to get into a spinal twist. Another good inhale. Exhale, start to return the torso back down, freeing out the left arm. And then we take the second side. So this time, it's the right hand that's closer to you, left hand is in front of the other. Start to walk each hand off that edge of the mat. Remember, if you don't feel it, just bump the elbows up an inch. Rest the forehead down, rest the chin down in a comfortable way. Take a few good breaths. From here, this time it's the right arm that stays. That's the one that's underneath. Left arm circles forward, all the way around to plant under the left shoulder, and then press into the ground from there. The knees are heavy. They try not to lift off the ground. And then we begin to open the spine, getting this left shoulder pulled back nice and open on the ground. Beautiful. Unwind the shoulders, plant both hands underneath, press up, and sink the hips back into a nice downward facing dog, enjoying that stretch through the spine. See if you can walk your hands just a little bit forward so it's helping to pull on the shoulder blades, bringing those into a nice stretch. And then slide the hands back in closer. We're taking rabbit pose. So set the crown of the head down onto the ground in front of you. Each hand grabs onto each heel. Once you've got the crown of the head down and you're grabbing onto the heels, all you need to do is lift the hips up. And by doing that, the head rocks a little bit further back on the ground. This brings the head, the neck, the upper back, the shoulders into a nice little hole. All of it rounding and stretching as deep as it can go. This is very beautiful to help counter stretch the body after the back bend we just took. Let's enjoy another huge inhale. Good exhale. Put the hips back down. Bring the hands under the shoulders. And slowly round one vertebrae to stack on top of the next until the head is all the way up at the top of the spine. Once we're lifted, let's come up to a nice high kneeling position. Our right leg points off to the right side. And so from here, the right hand is on top of that right leg. Begin to slide the right hand down. Left arm circles up and over. Circle the arms back up. From here, plant the left hand to the ground. And then begin to float this right leg, trying to get it parallel to the ground. This is a nice kneeling version of half moon pose. Maybe you keep the top hand at the hip or reaching up to the sky. Let's do just a little bit of strengthening. 5 nice small circles to each side. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, reverse. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Return that leg back down. Torso rises back up. From here, we plant the hands in front of us, even dropping down onto elbows. The way that I get into the stretch from here is by imagining the sitting bones and trying to stick them further back behind me. What that does is flatten the low back, and so that you actually feel a nice stretch through the inner thigh. Good. From here, plant your hands. Start walking your hands to surround the right leg. The left toes can travel behind you, just swiveling around to make sure the knees are comfortable. And here we're at a half split. And so hands on the ground, we're continuously bringing the torso closer and closer and closer to that leg. Beautiful hamstring moment. You can either stay at this depth or inch it just a little bit closer toward the splits. Maybe the front toes scoot, maybe a full half of a foot forward, maybe more, maybe less. And just hold as close to the splits as you can get at this moment without forcing any sort of uncomfortableness to happen. This isn't the day where we're getting all the way there. Rather, it's just an invitation to invite the hamstrings to stretch to a good depth. Let's take another huge breath in the body. And then exhale, start to scoot this leg back. And drop the right knee down. We're going to be kneeling on that side. Left leg planting off to the left. Switching the sides out. We're sliding the left hand down the left leg. Stack the shoulders, right arm up and over. Some days I can feel the stretch all the way clear down into some of those connections right at the hip area. So maybe that's your experience today, maybe not. Good, rising up. It's like we continue the cartwheel down. Right hand plants immediately off to the right so that our second leg can float into a kneeling half moon position. Feel that gentle strength going on in our body. Let's take the 5 circles. Going 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Reverse the direction. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. From here, plant that foot back down. The torso rises back up. Plant the hands immediately in front of your body, maybe dropping to elbows. And straighten the low back, sticking those sitting bones back so that you can feel the inner thigh muscles. Coming back up onto hands, walk the hands to surround the left foot. The right foot just kind of swivels around to be behind you again. Take a few good breaths at this nice half split position. And maybe you stay right here, or maybe the front toes start to inch their way forward, even just a little bit. Finding whatever depth of splits feels appropriate for the body right here, right now. Breath in, a nice exhale. Swing this leg back close. From here, We swing both knees wide. We tuck the toes sitting back onto them for a little bit of a toe stretch. At the same time, we take a wrist stretch. The hands rotate on the ground. The thumbs are to the outside. The palm is down, middle fingers toward our body. And if you need to go deeper through that part, walk the hands forward. So we're stretching wrists, stretching toes behind us. And from here, let's take 5 rounds of that breath where we expel out what we're releasing. So huge inhale, gaze down. Exhale, stick out your tongue. 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Start to wind your wrists out. Unwind the toes, rolling everything out for a moment. Good. Both hands come closer to the right knee. The left heel extends out long to the left. And we're either balancing on the right toes, like this, lifting that right knee up, or you can stay kneeling all the way down, whatever's working. If the toe stretch is too much, if you're doing the knee down, you can untuck the toes as well. Just take a nice chance to be right here. We'll switch it out. If you're balancing on the toes, let's lift up and then over so that we're on the left side. If you're in the other version, just switch it out one step at a time to get there. From here, wherever we're at, we're going to come up to a standing position, toes pointing forward or slightly inward, legs nice and wide. And then from here, start to release the torso downward. Once the torso is as heavy downward as it can go, let's clasp our hands behind our back and start to pull the arms backwards into a nice stretch. You can have stillness here the whole time, or you can have a little bit of motion, almost like a clock or like a metronome. The hands are going tick-tock to each side. Again, if you prefer stillness, that's fine as well. Releasing the hands downward, try to pay attention to the hips, keeping them level as both hands go around the right ankle, and try to pull your torso a little bit closer to that right leg. The left hand wraps around the right ankle so that right hand is free to rotate up to the sky in a nice twist. That hand drops down, both hands walk through the center, grabbing onto your left ankle, pull your torso in toward that side. The right hand wraps around the ankle so that left hand can reach up to the sky. And drop down, work your way through, hands planting evenly in the center. From here, turn the toes up to the 45-degree angles, bend the knees, bring the hands up to the inner thigh, and then from here, as we set the hips back, our arms are straight. We're leaning forward just a little bit to help push the inner thighs into a nice stretch. From here, rotate the right shoulder, dipping it down through the center. Torso back up, dip down the left shoulder. Travel once again to the right. once again to the left. Beautiful. Rising up, straighten the legs. Let's take a goddess pose. So the legs squat back down, this time the torso stacked. Arms are fierce off to the left and to the right. And from here, let's take that breath again. Inhale, gaze down. Exhale, stick the tongue out. 4 more. 3, 2. Expel any last energy that you can. Beautiful. Straightening the legs. From here, the right toes turn to the long edge of the mat. The left toes turn to the short edge of the mat. The hips are still staying toward that long edge, toward the screen. Arms open out to left and right. We're heading toward triangle pose. And so reach that left arm forward, 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 forward toward that small edge of the mat. And then drop the hand down. Wherever it falls is where we stay, because that's the place where the hips can stay the most stacked. As that hand rests down, just above or below the knee, the right hand reaches up. Feel that shoulder rotating open. The neck is nice and comfortable, a nice long angle. Rising the arms up. From here, we shorten the stance just a little bit, turning toward that straight right, as the straight left leg. From here, you're welcome to go into pyramid pose with the hands sliding down, or if you want a little tiny challenge, see if you can clasp the hands behind your back, pulling the arms away from you as you bow forward into pyramid pose. Be willing to release the hands at any point if the hands need to drop down and catch you so that you don't have to fall. Imagine it's your very face that's getting closer and closer to the foot. Good. Hands drop back down. The left knee bends. The right foot slides back out, so it's more like a warrior 2 shape. Both hands are in the inside of that left leg. The hips get pushed backwards to counterbalance our arms walking forward. Beautiful. As hands walk back in, turn the toes forward and release the side heavy round. Bend the knees, bring the hands to the hips, roll ourselves up 1 vertebrae at a time. From here, left toes stay to the long edge of the mat. Right toes rotate to the short edge, keeping the hips square to the side. Open the arms left and right. Reach the right arms forward toward those toes, and then drop the hand down wherever it falls. Above or below the knee is fine. Left hand lifts upward. Keep the shoulders rotating open. Good breath in. And with the exhale, we start to rise the torso up, shorten the stance, turning the body over toward that right leg, keeping it straight. You have the same options as before, sliding the hand down, clasping the hands behind, pulling, or if you want to try, you can bring the hands to a reverse prayer position shape behind your back. The palms are flipped upward and in that prayer position shape, walking the hands as high up as they can go. This can help keep the chest open. So from here, perhaps, if you made it to the shape, we begin to work our way forward, taking that beautiful pyramid pose. Remember, once again, be willing to release the hands if you need to catch yourself. Breath into the body, breath out. Start to bend the right knee, dropping the hands to the inside of that foot. Hips travel backwards as the arms work their way forward. turning the toes toward the long edge of the mat. One last chance to hang heavy here. Perhaps bring the hands into the elbow creases and imagine the elbows are getting pulled closer and closer to the ground. Good. As we drop the hands down, we're going to prepare to come all the way down onto our back. So walk your hands up toward whatever you consider to be the top of your mat. Step back just a moment, downward facing dog. And then drop the knees down. Sit to one side of the feet, swinging the legs forward. Make your way all the way down onto your back. Maybe you want one last little movement, a twist to each side. Maybe you're planting the feet as wide as the mat and letting the knees knock inward. Finding ourselves in a beautiful place here where we can head into this final chance to integrate our intention, that letting go intention. So within the next 3 breaths, let's find ourselves in our version of Shavasana for today. And then from here with our meditation, we're going to work through different body parts. As I name each segment of the body, we'll send a thought to it. Let go. So specifically thinking perhaps of tension, any weird energy that's in that body, let go. Use your breath to help out that process. So thinking of the feet and the lower part of the legs. A nice inhale. Exhale, let go. Thinking of the thighs. Inhale. Exhale, let go. The pelvis and the abdomen. Inhale. Exhale, let go. All the surface area of your back on the ground. Inhale. Exhale, let go. Your chest. Inhale. Exhale, let go. Your hands, releasing all tension, all clenching. Inhale. Exhale, let go. Your arms and shoulders. Inhale. Exhale, let go. Your neck. Inhale. Exhale, let go. Your cheeks and temples. Inhale. Exhale, let go. Your forehead and jaw. Inhale. Exhale, let go. The inner and outer corners of your eyes. Inhale. Exhale, let go. Keeping the breath in through the nose. Exhale longer and slower out the mouth as a way of releasing energy. Keep the breath flowing in that manner. Inhale. Exhale, the whole body lets go. The more we release the control over the exhale, the more free that exhale is to just release. So try out a breath with that. And thinking back to our dedication for today, what is it that we're wanting to let go of? Take a breath to breathe into that. And feel what the energy around that idea is. Is the energy heavy? Is it sticky? Does it have a color? Just notice. What does it seem like? And whatever that feels like, over the next 5 breaths, imagine that you're filling up a helium balloon with the energy of that which we wish to release. And so after those 5 breaths, the energy is no longer inside of us. So preparing for those breaths starting now. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth into the balloon. 4. 3. 2. Last one, let all the energy go. Tie a knot around this balloon, maybe attaching a beautiful ribbon as well. Imagine walking this ribbon outside to a beautiful area, maybe a garden, maybe a hiking place that you travel to sometimes. And in this beautiful area, you have the nature around you, supporting you, nurturing you, and your ability to ultimately release the energy of this habit, this word, this intention. So when you feel ready, we're going to release this balloon, this helium balloon, to float up to the sky. And as you watch it float away, imagine that that is the energy of this thing floating further and further and further away from you, releasing into the energy of the universe, because the universe knows what to do with that energy. And so whenever you feel ready to release, we'll let go and give the next minute or two just to watch it float away in our mind's eye. Keep on breathing through that release. Last breaths to see that balloon start to disappear from our view. And from here, we feel this newfound energy, this new lightness in our body, helping us know that we can transition into the rest of this day without it. So let's begin to stretch the arms up overhead, stretch the legs long like we're waking up first thing in the morning. When you're ready, roll over to a nice fetal position to one side. Take another breath in and out. Pressing our way up to a seated place, hands at the heart. And with this release, this letting go to help us transition into this beautiful day, let's wrap up this time we got to share together with the sound of Om. Inhaling now. Om. May we be filled with light and happiness and peace. Namaste.